Baby, we'll be old. Oh, baby, we'll be old and think of all the stories that we could have.
I'm French. I've been cooking for 30 years professionally. I've been an entrepreneur almost my whole life, but I never had this kind of place in France. I started 30 years ago with a mountain inn near Switzerland in France. And then I've cooked for a big training center in itinerary places for workshops, trainings, etc. And then I had my workshop center in south of France for almost 10 years. Then I worked as a cook, home chef for 1 year, but I stopped because in my area in south of France it didn't work well enough. Okay. And I've been told I had been told for 20 years you should have a restaurant in France, and I said no way, I will never have a restaurant in France because I thought it was too difficult there. So it sounded easier for me in Nepal. I did it because just I believed it was easier.
Okay.
I've been here for 5.5 years,
Okay.
and it's going to be 5 years next week that I open the restaurant.
Okay.
And why you choose Nepal?
Because I've never been to another country.
All right.
I know only Nepal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you felt in love with the culture, or
Actually, when I came here for the first time 10 years ago, it was my first real travel.
yeah.
I was 42, and instead of having a shock arriving in Kathmandu, I felt like at home. It was like I was just back home for me. So it's something you can't explain. I can't say I fell in love with the country, but I felt really comfortable with the environment. The feeling I had of myself was really good here.
Okay. So when you left France, you came here alone,
Yes.
and you settled in Kathmandu directly?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I came back and forth for 5 years, and I worked on several projects here. Then I was leading groups for a travel agency in France, and so I came 5 times before to Nepal. So I knew a little the country, and I wanted to do something here professionally because I wanted to share my experience, my knowledge, my state of mind. My dream, if I can say, was to contribute to the development of the country. Okay. It was really very pretentious. So I left everything there. I sold everything. I just left my 2 daughters, but they are grown-ups. They are 30 and 27 years old. They live and work in Paris. And I decided to
come over here.
jump from the cliff.
Yeah.
So you arrived here,
Yeah.
and straight away you looked for a place to create your business?
No, it's not like that. Actually, I had the idea started in my mind 4 years before. During my second stay in 2004, and then I let it maturate in my mind, and then I had to finish some things with my second daughter, and I started to search for the restaurant in July 2007, and I sent 1 mail in English, and I got the reply in French from someone who was telling me there is a French restaurant for sale in Tamil. I couldn't believe, because I knew there was no French restaurant, but this one had been opened just for 4 months by a French person. And so I came here just 2 or 3 months later. I visited, so it was in October 2007, and I made the deal with the owner in October, November. And then I arrived here in May 2008.
Okay.
So when I arrived, everything was already fixed and
Existed, yeah.
yeah, I mean the lease was signed and everything was decided. And, actually, to get a business visa here, you need to invest minimum $50,000.
Okay.
At that time, it was a little less.
Okay.
We are 3 partners, French,
Okay.
and the minimum was 15,000 euros per person.
Okay.
And so if you have a real company registered officially, everything is clear. And if you invested $50,000,
Okay.
you can get the business visa.
Which
But
is what you did?
it's what I did.
Okay.
The first month I was with a tourist visa, and then after a few months we could apply for the business visa. But even if you meet all the criterions of the government and the administration, it remains very difficult. It's a yearly battle to get the visa. The process is 1 month, and everybody knows my restaurant in town, and everybody knows me, and still they check, they come here, and it's really tricky. Yeah. It happens quite often that some French people want to start a business here.
Okay.
Very often they just dream about Nepal, like the best place to make business and best place to live, and so most of the time I tell them, oh,
Calm down.
calm down. You have to be very well informed about many things, and many people just leave the project because they realize after 1 to 3 months here all the problems, how difficult it can be in the daily life and for business and everything. And other people, many people look for a job actually, because many people would like to stay like 1 year, 2 years in Nepal, but it's not possible with a tourist visa. And even for big organizations, it's tricky to get the visa for the workers.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And so it's the same. Many people leave after
After
the tourist visa delay, you know, like 5
Expired,
months expired. They leave, and they leave it because it's really difficult. And as as an entrepreneur, the companies are not allowed to hire foreigners unless you can give evidence you have been looking for this kind of competencies for more than 4 months. You have to show all the announcements in the newspapers. You have, it's really difficult. It's complicated, and even if you can give evidence, I'm not sure you can get the visa for the person.
Wow. Okay.
And many people don't understand why it's so difficult, because I don't think it takes job to Nepali people, because most of the time it's different competencies, and it brings knowledge in the country also. The administration actually, it's not so difficult like to settle the company. It was not so difficult. It took time. It took 3 months.
3 months, eh?
Mainly because my partners are in France, so it was a bit complicated with the documents. What I like here actually is that we are facing daily a real life. I mean, there is nothing to make smoother anything, the problems, we are really facing the things roughly. I mean, in Europe, in developed countries, I think there are many things to make you forget what is difficult, what is painful, what is complicated, just to distract your mind from the reality. Here, it's in front of you and you can't avoid it. So, on my opinion, it's interesting. It requests a lot of adjustment, adaptation to the situations.
Sure.
And this is, on my opinion, the most beneficial of an experience here, because it changes you. The relations with the people are really easy and comfortable, I would say. Nepali people are really kind, really open, spontaneous, sweet and easygoing, and it's really something I think we lost in Western countries. So this makes the daily life sometimes really enjoyable.
Yeah.
You can meet people and have really nice talks, like with good friends, even if you met just 5 minutes before. It's warm, very human. For me, it's a bit difficult to answer because most of my contacts speak English. Because I'm working in the tourism area, let's say, and on a certain level of the society, so everybody speaks English. And even many Nepali guys speak French.
Oh yeah?
It's surprising. So, but of course, if you go to the countryside and you go to the villages, and it's better if you speak Nepali. And when you speak Nepali, even a little, the attitude of the people becomes really more friendly and so warm, and they are so happy.
Yeah.
And you don't need to speak an academic Nepali language, because in Nepal there are more than 70 languages. So even between Nepali people, most of the time they don't have the same language. So it can be raw sentences or words or approximate, and they understand each other. So if you speak a little Nepali, they will understand. They will make the effort to understand. And
so did you learn a bit when you arrived here?
yes, I took some class at the beginning. I would like to go back to the class because I would like to improve. I'm not fluent. I can have a basic conversation, but just about the daily things and what I do and about my family, my daughters, and how long I've been here. I mean, really basic things. Actually, at the beginning, I've been really lucky because I found a good team from the beginning, and they stayed quite long, and they learned very quickly. The chef had already like 9 years, 8-9 years experience, yeah. So, and he's really an exceptional person, I would say. Very responsible, totally committed to work, available, serious, organized, which is not easy to find, really. So I was really lucky. And then, yeah, the first team was really good state of mind. And for, let's say, 3-4 years, it was quite okay. But now it's much more difficult, and I can see the change in the state of mind of the young people here. Yeah, they are even less stable than before and not so reliable. They want to change. They go abroad. As soon as they know something, they go abroad. They leave the country.
Okay.
So when someone is competent, they leave, and it means it's more and more difficult to find competent people here and to keep them. And so I find it more difficult now than 5 years ago. I think it's quite easy, especially if they have a good job, like if they work in a big agency, because the manpower is not expensive here. So if you have children, you can have 1-2 Didi, we call Didi here, means someone to help you.
Yeah.
and they are really nice with the children, and like there is a very good French school. Yeah, very beautiful, small, and in a nice place, and then after there are international schools, several
In Kathmandu.
in Kathmandu. So I think it's really nice, and the children can have some activities, and I think for families it's nice, and you can rent a house with a beautiful garden for, I don't know, maybe 700 euros or 800 euros.
Yeah.
So for the people who have like 3,000-4,000 euros salary or something like that, it's really comfortable.
So you would say, yeah, the comfortable budget per month would be 3,000 to 4,000 euros?
No, I mean this is on a high level for someone who doesn't need much fancy stuff like me. If I have, let's say, 30,000 rupees means 300 euros a month, it's okay.
It's okay. And that pays for the home, for the flat?
Yeah. I have a flat. I pay 12,000 rupees per month.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful small flat with a beautiful terrace. And it increased a lot for the past years. But if you have like 500 euros a month, you live quite well.
Yeah.
I don't feel like going back to France to live there. I think when I left, I was a bit fed up with France. I don't think the situation improved there. I think it's worse than before. And what would I do? I mean, France was boring for me when I left. So after this experience and the life I have here with so rich meetings with incredible people, atypical people, and with wonderful stories and background and adjustable people, tolerant people, I think in France it would be difficult for me to feel okay with the people complaining and not satisfied when they still have everything. And I'm not sure it would be okay for me. Here it's difficult, of course, but how can I say? I think we don't have the stress on the same level. Like, it's a different stress. It's not a nervous stress here or a mind stress. It's just that you need to adjust all the time. You need to adjust to any new situation, any 5 minutes, in the 5 coming minutes, maybe. Yes, there is something, really alive. And of course, there is the Kathmandu Valley with all the wonders to visit, like the World Heritage sites, which is already amazing. And then you go 20 kilometers out of Kathmandu, and the landscapes, the views are just breathtaking. It's so beautiful. This country is so beautiful. And when you go to small villages, the people are so welcoming, and you can share. And so you can stay 6 months here, and you will never feel bored. You can visit all the parts of Nepal. Of course, Nepal is very famous for trekking, which is huge, a huge offer. You can do any level of trekking, from very easy one day to expeditions till Everest. I mean, everybody can find what he wants. And there is something we don't talk much about, is about the jungle. And there are some amazing places in Nepal to see the wildlife, to see tigers, wild elephants, and wild animals maybe we won't see for very long now. And it's a totally different life, and there are wonderful people to welcome foreigners, to make them discover all those wonders. And so there are really many things to do. You can practice any kind of extreme sports. You can ride bicycle, mountain bike everywhere. You can do paragliding. I mean, it's really interesting for almost everybody. About culture discovery, about sport, about trekking, about wildlife. I mean, there is everything in Nepal.
Yeah.
You know, it happens very often that people talk about Nepal saying it's a poor country. It's in the top 10 of the less developed countries of the world. But it's not a poor country, it's a very rich country. It's not managed, but they have everything here.
Has a huge potential.
Everything, everything. From 17 meters altitude till the top of the world in less than 200 kilometers. So we have all the climates from subtropical to Arctic. All the kinds of vegetables, and they grow many vegetables, fruits, and the animals and the flora, and it's so rich here. So rich, birds, butterflies, flowers, everything. Of course, it's a fascinating country. Fascinating. It becomes difficult when you want to work. Because the culture is different, because you don't understand each other, because you are a bit surprised quite often by the way they consider the work. And but the rest of Nepal, I mean, for someone who wants to visit or to stay 1, 2, 3, 4 months, it's one of the most beautiful countries.
Still, you are a great example that if you really dream about living in Nepal, this is doable. You can make it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And actually, just small information, useful information. Actually, the 5 months tourist visa, it's for 1 civil year. So if the people arrive at the beginning of August, they can stay 10 months till the end of May. Okay?
It's good to know.
Because it goes over the 2 civil years.
Sure.
So this is the longest you can stay as a tourist.
That gives you
Unless you have
plan.
2 passports.
Yeah.
Because many travelers have 2 passports and they don't check with the computer's system so far. So if you have 2 passports, you can also
Almost spend the whole year.
yeah.
Baby,
So actually we have electricity cuts several times a day. I mean, there are 2 cuts. And in the dry season, means January, February, March, it can go till 16 hours cut a day.
Oh, okay.
So we have 4 hours electricity, 8 hours cut, 4 hours electricity, which is in the night.
That requires an organization.
It's quite difficult, but what is good compared to some other countries, I've been told, we have the schedule. And normally they follow it quite well. Because I heard in many other countries, they don't have more electricity, even maybe less, and they cut any time. So I don't know how you can work.
That's true.
At least here we can plan, we can organize the work. They are welcome
Yeah.
in Nepal. They will be welcome anyway. They will love it. This is for sure. Almost everybody loves Nepal. And most of the people who come for the first time, they say, we'll come again. And they do, and they come 2, 3, 4 times. And yeah, and what can I say? Yeah, it's a beautiful experience. I think it's quite a unique country. I met so many travelers for 10 years. And big travelers, people who know, I don't know how many countries, they went all over the world, which is not my case. I can't compare because I know only Nepal. But almost all the people say, in Nepal there is something special. There is something different of any other place in the world. I don't know, maybe because of the people. because it's the top of the world, because of the culture, which is very rich with different cultures, different religions, different. It's a very rich country for the culture, and so I think coming to Nepal is a beautiful experience. To visit or to live here for a while.
Good.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much,
Yeah.
Christine.
Welcome, it was my pleasure.
Pleasure.